Some people say Alibaba is full of trading companies. Others say it is the easiest place to find factories in China. And when Coca-Cola contacted me, I had to find an Alibaba supplier quickly with a real client deadline. The seller's account had photos, transaction history, but none of those details showed me who controlled production or how the order will be managed. So what evidence did I check before committing the order? Today, I'll show you the 5 checks I used after Coca-Cola contacted me and how one Alibaba supplier earned my trust and the order. My name is Dwayne Scott. I've sourced products from China for over 13 years, building supply chain systems for the largest carnival in the Caribbean. And over that time, I have learned that Alibaba becomes useful when you know what evidence to look for. Now, here's the hidden truth. Alibaba is a marketplace that connects buyers and sellers so they can discuss the product, the materials, the price, and the delivery. It gives you access, information, and a place to begin. But it cannot confirm the supplier's capability, its responsibility, or alignment. You must verify who controls production and how your order will be managed before committing any money. So the real question is, what evidence reveals the structure behind the storefront? Usually, someone will look for a seller with photos, machines, certificates, the price, and MOQ. And those details are useful, but they are only the visible layer. Behind that storefront, you will usually find one of 3 arrangements. The first is an OEM factory. This means the account belongs to the factory and it has an export license to sell overseas. Then you communicate directly with its sales team. The second is a trading company. This means they do not own the factory and they do not manufacture any products. They only cooperate with local factories and have an export license to resell products overseas. The third is a factory-owned export company. This means the local factory cannot sell overseas, so they've created a separate trading company with a license to export for overseas sales. Now, one day the rep from Coca-Cola contacted me and they wanted some water cooling spray tents. I found my supplier on Alibaba and I qualified them through my 5 steps, and then I placed an order. They later became part of my supply chain, supporting a multi-million-dollar business. Now, here's the important point. I have worked with factories directly that provide the best customer service and delivery time year over year. And I've also worked with trading companies that gave me better pricing and more selection than OEM factories. And they also became long-term supply chain partners. So which one is better? And how do you go beyond the storefront to choose a great supplier? Now, to turn that investigation into a repeatable decision, I've organized Alibaba's qualification with our MAP framework: mindset, approach, and progress. The old mindset is, I'm not sure who to trust on Alibaba. And the new mindset is, how do I use Alibaba to collect market data and qualify the right supplier? Because remember, the goal is to find a capable supplier with a proven production system that offers a fair price. So what should you verify before paying for a sample or deposit? Let me walk you through the 5 checks I used to qualify that supplier and why each one mattered before I committed to the order. On the storefront on Alibaba's homepage, there is a drop-down menu at the top that gives you the supplier's overview profile with some key vetting indicators. So the first check is, have they been verified? I look for the verified logo. This means that an independent inspection company has actually gone to the location and verified that there is a physical building and an active production line. Great, but it does not guarantee performance. So the next check is operating history. Confirm the years of expertise. My basic standard for considering a supplier is at least 8 years of manufacturing expertise in the product category that you want to buy. Look for the number of years the seller has been a member on Alibaba. My supplier has been on the platform for 16 years, which suggests stability, experience, and consistent business activity. I don't think you can go wrong there. However, longevity alone does not prove capability. It is simply one positive signal to investigate further. So the third check is make sure they specialize in your niche. Take a look at the product listing on the storefront and make sure that the supplier offers only variations of the core product you're looking for. In this case, the supplier specializes only in PVC products like inflatables, water tanks, bouncy castles, not a mixed bag of items. But knowing they specialize in it does not mean they can deliver. So the fourth check is, what is the on-time delivery? What's the point of finding a factory that can produce but is always delivering late? Doesn't make sense, right? So back to the supplier's profile card on the home page, and we want to make sure that this on-time delivery is 95% or more. This is a sign of a factory that has a trusted and robust production system with a repeatable and reproducible process. Here, my supplier is 100% fantastic. And the fifth check is customer reviews. Scroll down on any product page to review the supplier's store rating. I look for at least 4.5. My supplier scores 4.7, which is a positive customer service signal. Next, sort the reviews by most recent purchases. North American and European customers show that the supplier remains active and gives you a clearer indication of current quality and service standards. So, what evidence tells you whether the supplier has secured our order? Well, if the supplier passes these tests, then you are on your way to finding a great supplier. And in my case, I requested a video call with the owner of the factory on WeChat, and I confirmed some additional details such as a production tour of the factory, and then I placed the order. Then when I went to China, I visited the factory myself. Here's a photo of me and Athena of Guangzhou U-Rides Company on the factory floor, and a video of Coca-Cola's misting tent before shipping. Now, I've got a bonus tip for you. Alibaba has trade assurance that can help with defective goods, but refunds are not automatic. You must prove the supplier failed to meet the agreed standard with documentation. Then the supplier must also agree they are at fault. So it is an arbitration process and is not as straightforward as it may appear to be. But I do like trade assurance. Now, how do you know if you're progressing? The supplier now needs to earn a decision from us. Do we proceed? Do we pause? Or do we replace them? Look for the green flags. They have at least 8 years of manufacturing experience in your product category. They provide a clear production plans with milestones and realistic lead times. Their storefront specializes only in variations of your core product, and their on-time delivery rating is 95% or higher. The red flags also show up, but differently. They usually appear in the supplier's behavior. The salesperson avoids explaining who owns the account or controls production. Company names, addresses, or business licenses do not match the storefront. The supplier pressures you to pay before specifications and production terms are confirmed. And most importantly, they resist live video calls to confirm production proof. Athena, she passed all 5 checks, so I had enough evidence to proceed with the order, and it was delivered on time with strong quality. This is what controlled trust looks like. Evidence first, commitment second. And now you are no longer choosing a seller from a listing wondering what if. You are evaluating evidence like a supply chain architect. And this is how you build a supply chain that protects your business before money is committed. Now that you understand Alibaba is simply a marketplace, it's best to understand how to protect the on-time delivery of your order. And in this video, I explain 5 production checks to complete before paying the final balance. Download today's free worksheet in the description Then watch the video right here.